Hey, hello everyone. Guess what? It's our 10-year anniversary, and today we want to answer questions about our journey in this 10 years of being married. I will tell you it's been an amazing journey, and we're so excited to share with you stories of how what we went through and how we came this far and what has made our marriage a beautiful one. I can tell you I've enjoyed these 10 years, and it's our desire that people watch this video and they're able to take lessons and principles that will help their own journey in marriage. And if you're a single person, you also learn some of the things we did ahead that helped us and prepared us for this journey. So stay tuned.
Welcome to this Marriage Thing with the Daniels. And if this is your first time here and you've not subscribed, I really want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel because we have amazing content here. If you look at our channel, you will see videos that will really inspire you and will answer some of your heartfelt questions when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationship, and also how to maximize your singlehood. You know, we are professional marriage counselors and we've been doing this for a while, helping people make wise decisions when it comes to marriage, and also help people who are married who are going through challenges in their marriage, help them navigate those challenges. If you need help in any of those areas, feel free to reach us. And also, if you're about to get married and you need professional counseling, premarital counseling, feel free to reach us. And I'm telling you, you're going to really be inspired by the things you're going to hear in those sessions. All right. So right now, we're going to dive into the conversation for today. All right.
If you're married, let us know on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your marriage doing? If you're married, let us know how many years have you been married. Just drop it in the comment. Hey, I've been married for 5 years. I've been married for 2 years. I've been married for 10 years. Just write. I want to have an idea of the people watching today's video, if you're married or you're not. And if you're not married, just write, I'm single or I'm engaged and everything. Then also, if you have questions you want to ask about our own marriage or anything relating to marriage and the rest, feel free to drop it in the comment and we will see it and we'll get back to you. So in telling our journey, we're going to be answering some questions so that it will guide this conversation. And the first question we're going to be answering is, looking back at the beginning of our marriage, what was the first major storm we weathered together? And how did it shape our understanding of for better or for worse?
What was the first major storm?
Okay, let me think. What was the first one? I think the first one is the financial challenge.
Yeah, I think so too.
We got into marriage in faith. And when I mean faith, we use faith for everything. As in, looking back, I realized that while we was good, we used faith, we should have also planned better.
Yeah.
So we entered in faith. I mean faith. Imagine you're going into your marriage. I didn't have savings. She had a little savings. I didn't have a consistent flow of income because at that time I had not given attention to my business, so money was not really coming in. But we just got into the marriage knowing that things were going to work out, and our faith in God helped us. The wedding went successful. But when we now got married, we now realized that God can help you in miracles and everything, in getting everything for your wedding and the rest. But you see, the life after your wedding, you can't just be depending on miracles upon miracles. Exactly. So that was the first financial challenge. Maybe throw some light into it.
So yes, it was actually financial. Every other thing that we had, every other challenge, really all still tied to the financial. And like he said, planning was one major area because he didn't have a consistent flow. I was working in the church office and my income wasn't that much like that.
Church staff didn't earn much most of the time.
So imagine us having to depend on that, and sometimes it gets maybe 1 or 2 inflows and all that. So it really was a struggle. And as at that time, I wasn't really I had my financial blueprint at that time was really very funny. So I wasn't, in quotes, all that patient, even though, yes, I had faith in God, trust in God for provision, but I was quite impatient about the situation of things, and it really caused a lot of issues between us and all of that. So I would say that was really, it's cut across a whole lot of things, from paying rent to, some major bills on ground. And, there's a way that can really, really be very disturbing and all of that. So that was one major challenge I would say that we went through, and God helped us to weather it over time.
So the second question is almost like the follow-up of the first one. It says, what was a recurring disagreement or point of friction in the first few years? And what was the breakthrough moment when we learned to navigate it? So now this question is talking about recurring disagreement. It still boils down on finances. See, apart from the fact that we didn't plan better, we also now over time realize that we have 2 different viewpoints on money, what we call money blueprint. That's one thing we always tell people: you must understand, you must know the blueprint of your spouse and not just
And
know
also
you and
yours.
yours, and also walk around it. How do you merge it? In fact, that's part of the highlight of the premarital counseling that we offer to people. So we tell people, so we realize that I had my own idea of the way things should be run in terms of finances. She had her own idea. So there was always clash. And we wanted to run finances together. We didn't want a situation where I was doing my own thing, she was doing her own thing. So it was always hard in those first few years. I'm thinking, okay, I remember one of the few examples. I wanted to set up like a barbering salon that would bring inflow on a daily basis. She felt no, it was too risky. It was too risky to say that what if it doesn't work out and everything. That one alone was another challenge and different things. I was not the type that felt I should be saving when I had opportunities, business opportunities. I feel like if I put all my money in this thing to work out, she was like, no, you don't just put all your money into these things. What if it does not work out? And they're like, why do you think it does not work out? And we had those back and forth. It was one area that it really brought recurring challenges.
Just to buttress what I said, and one of the reasons was because I wasn't so much of a risk taker. And why? Because coming from where I was coming from, I'd seen a whole lot of people just take some steps and all of that, and they are just like back to ground zero. So for me, right, I was always on this place where this little we have, let's just keep it, like let's just manage it and all of that. But he was let's just take it, put it into something to generate more. But I wasn't. So it really caused a lot of back and forth. Like when I say back and forth, I mean back and forth that sometimes our pastor will have to intervene, we'll have to advise both of us, okay, guide us on what to do and all of that.
And so to also answer the second part of this question, it's talking about what practical day-to-day ways, or what ways were we able to navigate through that. So one ways that we did was that before we got married, we had already agreed with together that whenever we get to this point where we can't agree on something, each of us were free to talk to one or two persons that we've already agreed ahead of time. So it wasn't just me taking it to go meet my sister or my mom or somebody to talk to, or she just deciding to go meet her own sibling. It has to be the people we had already agreed ahead of time. So we both chose that we're going to, each of us could go talk to our pastor at that time. It wasn't just because of our pastor, it was somebody that we saw that we could be vulnerable, we could trust and everything, and it won't be on one person's side. Yeah. So we both agreed, and see, that decision helped us. So when she tells me that pastor is calling you, or when pastor calls me over, I want to see you, hey, my man, like, hey, my wife don't go report me, and I wouldn't be angry with her because we already agreed ahead of time, because we understood, or at that point, the place of accountability. We also understand I may be strong-willed about something, but what if I'm actually wrong? The same thing. So just by going to talk to him, it will bring us, his own wealth of experience into it. Sometimes it will make us to see the balance of how to work things together. So that helped us. And another thing again that also helped us during that time, also during that period, is understanding that, hey, no matter how far we fight, understand that you are not my enemy, I'm not your enemy. There's an enemy, the devil, that is out there to capitalize on that. So it helps us to always try to reconcile as fast as possible, because we understand that what if, okay, I'm trying to fight this thing, I want to show you, want to show me, but there's a devil that is looking for opportunity to use that opportunity to bring in sickness or to bring attack here and there. So those are the part of the things that really guided us and helped us during those recurring challenges. So the third question says, can you recall a time when you felt we were on the verge of giving up? What pulled us back from this brink? Can you remember any moment like that? You felt like, I don't do it again. Or not necessarily I don't do it again, but you almost felt that feeling like, what did I, this kind of thing. Any moment like that? Interesting.
I can't remember anything.
You can't remember. Okay, for me, it wasn't like maybe I felt like I know they do it again, but those moments where you feel like, like you want to do yourself. I remember one of such moments, I can't remember what was the argument about, but I was like, man, this man no pushing me on, nigga, no go.
Push you to do what?
Yes, I can't remember that period. I had to go and meet the mom, because the mom stays with us. Normally, I don't like getting the mom involved in issues and everything. I will remind you. Can't you remember that matter has to do with one of my siblings getting involved? You were trying to prevent me from. So I had an issue with one of my siblings, and I felt like giving it to her, picking up the phone and everything. My wife was like, no, this is not the best decision. Don't call her, don't tell her, because she had said some things to me, and I felt this is the time to give her a piece of my mind. My wife was like, no, she was going to stop me because she knows the impact it was going to have on our relationship, even how it was going to affect her. And she was insisting, standing on my way, and I was like, you can't stop me. And I just went to meet her mom. I said, talk to Fumi now and everything. But thank God also our mom intervened, and thank God I calmed down and the rest. But I don't think apart from that, we've had situation where I felt like, I shouldn't have married this lady. And that's why I'm so glad that we made this decision and we had the right foundation, because we've seen over the years where people always threaten each other with divorce. Like, I'm not doing it again because of serious issues. That's one thing that we've never had. And I'm so glad that we didn't. Okay, so the fourth question. How has our definition of a successful marriage changed from our wedding day to now?
Oh. Okay, so for me, successful marriage for me, right, was, a couple traveling the world, looking all glam. That was my image then, taking pictures, splashing it on social media, doing well financially, everything all. But over the years, I've redefined that, and for me, a successful marriage is one where both parties are on an intentional journey towards growth, towards loving each other, towards loving God, towards fulfilling destiny. It doesn't matter the opinions of people. It doesn't matter what is going on around. The world, social media might never even know what's... In fact, I made a decision some time back that I won't even be posting, like 90% of my life. I don't put it out there anymore. That I would enjoy my life. Like, when you come to my corner, you'll be like, wow, this is what this woman is enjoying. I made that decision. So it has changed over time, because sometimes people wonder why they get dissatisfied in their marriage. And one of the things I observed is when you open your home too much to too many voices, because when you put your life so much out there, one thing you're doing is that you are saying, guys, this is my life, you have a say. That's the fact. So don't be angry when people now say things and people say, hey, it doesn't affect me. That's a lie. You will go back and think about some things that they are saying. You will go back and... So I just told myself, why create unnecessary problems for yourself? Live your life in quietness and in peace. Yes, put out what you need to put out, just maybe for the purpose of records, but it doesn't have... Don't live your life out there for people. So over the years, I've just enjoyed the peace that I have, just knowing that I'm doing life with my husband, my children. We're living life, we're doing good, we're doing fine. I'm not opening it up to too many mouths. So it has really changed over time, and I love what I have today as against what the mindset I had back then.
Yeah, and for me also, I've come to realize that sometimes your expectations may not come to pass. When you're going to get married in your mind, in my 10th year, in my 5th year. I remember then I was thinking our 5th year, we're going to travel out of the country, vacation somewhere on maybe Banana Island, Bahamas or somewhere like that and the rest. But I realized that, sometimes your expectation may not come as you want it, especially at the time you want it, but it does not stop your marriage from being an amazing marriage. It doesn't mean that you guys are not doing well. So my definition of a successful marriage has changed over time. As long as we are loving each other, as long as we are happy with each other, whether we have or we don't have. Just like the way Paul said, I've learned how to abound, I've learned how to abase, and I can do all things. So I've come to understand that, there were periods in our lives where we didn't have, there are periods when we had, there are periods when we didn't have children, there are periods when we have children, but in all the phases, I've decided I'm not going to allow the reality or the perception of the world to define what success is in my marriage. So I believe we're having a successful marriage because we love each other. There's peace in the home. I look forward to coming home. I look forward to spending time with her. I look forward to having those good moments in my family. And to me, that is a beautiful marriage. And I'm not going to allow anybody to define it, because I've had people sometimes will tell us that, you guys don't you... But no, the rest.
And also the fact that I have come to realize that, everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's journey is different. And so the moment I got to understand my journey and God's dealings with us and where God is taking us and what God is doing with our lives, what He's writing with our story, I just had my peace, and I just told myself I don't have anything to share to prove to anyone. And so it has just put me in that place of quietness. I'll put it like that, quietness. And so that is the redefinition that I have about success in marriage for now.
Beautiful. So the 5th question says, what individual sacrifices have we made for the sake of our marriage, and how do we acknowledge and appreciate those in each other? So sacrifice. I think maybe for me, I would say that and I'm saying my own sacrifice even started before the marriage. So I made a decision that I was not going to sleep with anybody till I got married. When I was making that decision, I had my future marriage in mind. And I remember when I made that decision, I told God, I said, God, what I want you to do for me, this is what I want to do for you. I want to keep myself till I get married. I don't want to fornicate, but what I want you to do for me is to give me a beautiful, a wonderful woman and a beautiful marriage. And so that decision right from that time is part of the sacrifice I made. I had opportunities. I was a pastor on campus in Unilag. I had a lot of ladies, nice, beautiful sisters all around me. When I had even opportunities during NYC, and after all those points, I had to make that decision that no, I had a future in mind, a vision of the kind of future I wanted. So that was one decision. And even up to now, that decision to discipline myself, that decision to set boundaries, that decision to say that, hey, I'm not going to go to certain places because I don't trust my flesh. I'm not going to do this, do that. I'm not going to watch certain movies and everything. Those are part of the decisions that I believe that it's a sacrifice, because I could have lived like every normal guy out there. People find out and they're like, you serious? You don't have any babe outside? You don't have anybody that you're trying to, you don't have any secrets, you can leave your phone open, your wife knows your password, everything. I said, why am I going to be hiding all those kind of things when there is nothing to hide? Why will I be leaving that? So these are the sacrifices I've made to live my life as an open book. My wife knows that if I say I'm at this place, I'm at this place. If somebody tells her I saw my husband in the hotel, everything, she just discard it, because I've made those sacrifices, and it's still the sacrifice I still make every day. I think that's one for me. What about you?
Okay, so for me, right, some of the sacrifices I've had to make is, in fact, top of it is I've had to learn how to truly, like, not hold or not be offended, not be easily offended. So before now, in fact, I remember one incident I had with someone. That was before I got married, and I wasn't happy about it, and my pastor was like, for me, what's wrong? Why are you looking unhappy? And I told him, I said, this person is taking me for granted. And my pastor, he acknowledged, oh, okay, fine, sorry about what this person did and all of that. I said, but for me, you are going to be getting married soon, and trust me, one person that is going to take you for granted a lot is going to be your spouse. Not because they are bad people, he's a bad person, but because after a while of being married, there's this law that comes into motion, which is the law of see finish, and sometimes
familiarity,
which is familiarity. You understand? So when my pastor said it then, I didn't understand the magnitude of what he said. So, but when I got married, I realized that what he said was the fact, So there have been times I felt like my husband wasn't really like, was taking me for granted, but I had to learn, don't be offended. So there are some things he would do. I was just like, for me, is this what your peace? Is this what not sleeping over? Is this something you should really be focusing your mind on? So it has helped me regulate my emotions well and all of that. Not that I sweep matters under the carpet and now revisit it. I just choose not to, not to be offended. That choosing to forgive, that choosing to let go, and also my financial blueprint, because of the kind of person that he is. Like I said, I had to also make that adjustment and be like, okay, for me, you can't just be in this place where you are averse to risk. You just have to be open to an extent and trust that what he's doing is going to work out. Be that support system for real. Pray, trust God's wisdom. So I learned how to really pray to God when he's making major decisions. I pray, I commit his heart into God's hands, I commit his mind, and I ask God to just give him that wisdom. So just making those sacrifices rather than now being, why you? No, I just had to learn to trust God to lead him and all of that. So I would say that is it for me.
Okay, so the next question is, what principles have we applied and we'll say that has guided us this 10 years of marriage? What principles? So if I think about it, I think one of the principles for me is the principle of trust, or I say the fact that we have been able to build a marriage on trust. As in what I mean on trust. There is nothing that will shock me about my wife again, because I trust her to the extreme.
For real.
The same way. And that has guided us. It has helped us. Trust is one principle. What principle?
Forgiveness. Forgiveness. I had to learn that, and I had to bring that in, because I had to tell myself that in fact, I used to say that Ovi is not my enemy. I might not like something he's doing. I might not like certain decisions he's making. I might not like the way maybe at some points, not like a pattern, at some points maybe the way he reacts to me and all of that. But then I just tell myself, Ovi is not my enemy. So rather than getting offended to the point where malice comes in, resentment comes in, I choose, like I said, I choose to forgive. And that helped us. In fact, there was a time he even told me that just that attitude of mine not to really hold on to stuff and or helped him as well. So that principle of forgiveness, choosing to forgive, allowing God's word to really instruct me and regulate me has really helped a great deal.
Yeah. I think another one for me to be the fact that we are each other's best friends and we love each other's company. You know, sometimes I see maybe husbands that they don't enjoy spending time with their wives. They would rather go spend time in the club, in the bar, watching football or something, and just come home when they are fagged out, just sleep. In the morning, they're out again, and that's the way their marriage is. I wonder how they do it. You see, we were intentional about it that I won't enjoy another person's company more than my wife's company. If something is making it become that way, we will fight it, we will deal with that thing. Because if you look at it, how will your marriage be sweet if you don't enjoy the company of the person? And don't forget that this is somebody that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Then I better begin to find a way to enjoy it. So I love it when we watch movie together, we talk about things, we just, so that's one person that helped us. Friendship, being friends with each other. What other principle will you say?
Commitment. So I just told myself, I'm committed to my husband. So I tell people that it is funny how sometimes some people look at a couple and you see them as two separate individuals. So you feel like you can mess with one and the other will understand. I tell them, you've messed with my husband, certainly you've messed with me as well. So that's commitment. Then my decisions, the things I do, how I live my life, I walk with that mindset that, look, I'm committed to this person. And if I'm committed to this person, therefore I should not do something that is going to hurt this person intentionally. I should not do something that is going to make this person feel like, why am I in this marriage? So it has guided things I do, who I have become. I've become a much more gentler person. I've become a much more calmer person, because for me, in order for us to really have a happy home, I have to really practice what the scripture says. I had to become a woman of a quiet spirit. I had to lean more to the Spirit of God. I had to, all those things, and it's from a place of commitment. I always say that the best gift you can give your spouse is a better version of yourself. And so that is one thing that commitment did for me. Like, I have to give a better version, because before now, back then when we have arguments, if he says 1, I'm saying 10. Like I never lacked words and all of that. But now sometimes, well, not like we have arguments, but subtle disagreements here and there and all of that. But we just sometimes just like, for me, don't over push so that this thing doesn't continue and blow up. And in my quietness is quiet as well. And later when emotions are calmer, we're able to revisit that. So that's it for me.
And so lastly for me, I think is the word of God, the Bible, the scriptures, and God himself. You see, there are moments where your flesh want to take over. There are moments you just want to show this person, as you are so angry that in your mind, I want to and everything. But then the Holy Spirit nudges your heart. Then you think about scriptures. Then you remember what the Bible says. Then you realize who you are. You see, everything, that foundation of God's word has really helped us. You see, a lot of times people do not realize that you're living the regular or just being a good Christian can determine if your marriage will thrive or not. Just being a good Christian, knowing how to forgive, knowing how to love, knowing how to be humble, knowing how to just say I'm sorry, knowing how to be trustworthy, knowing how to be committed to the things of God, knowing how, just being a good Christian. I believe that is one area that has helped us, because if I wasn't and didn't have the foundation we had growing up and up to this point, we would have had a lot of issues with our marriage. We would have known how to fight the battles together. We would have known how to fight the good fight of faith, because there was a time in our marriage where there was medical complication in having children. After we had our first child in our, is it third year or fourth year?
Third year.
That's
No,
when
fourth year.
now
When
fourth
the
year.
child fourth
Now
year.
fourth year. So imagine if we didn't know how to, and the issue was so complicated that the doctors, to them, you can't have children naturally except you try other methods like IVF and the rest. And we didn't have the money, but we had to stand on God's word. So I would say that foundation of God, being a Christian, the scriptures and everything has really helped us. And I want to say to you that, you see, the way you live your life today, if you're a single person, would affect your marriage tomorrow. Don't just think that I can live my life anyhow. When it's time to marry, I will just settle down. I will turn a new leaf. You see, the earlier you do, the better. So the last question, or the last thing we're going to talk about, is what advice are you going to give to couples out there that are not enjoying their marriage the way we are or as they should, and people that feel that marriages are not working today because of the rate of divorce and the stories we have there? What are we going to say to this two set of people?
So for those in marriage who are going through difficult times, one thing I want you to know is that go for knowledge. So what I mean by go for knowledge is that don't be averse to counseling.
Yeah.
Don't be. And this is why counseling will always refresh your perspective. Counseling will always help you see things differently. Counseling will help you regulate and handle and manage your emotions, because sometimes what you need is wisdom, because what you're going through really and truly is not unique to you. To an extent, somebody else has gone through it, come out and is doing better. And why I said go for knowledge is because it is when you go for knowledge and you apply the knowledge, things will begin to change. And that is when the situation, that saying of no situation lasts forever, will come to play. Because for seasons to change, there are things you have to do. So if you go for counseling, if you choose to, maybe just the same way we had our pastor was very instrumental in our lives in those first few years, because we needed the wise counsel of someone that we could trust, you understand? And the things he shared with us, those periods helped us a great deal. I remember when he told me that for me, these things you're complaining about will still be there, 5 years down the line. So the question is, are you going to endure this marriage, or are you going to enjoy it? So I had to make a decision at that point that I'm not going to focus my attention on the 20% or the 10% that isn't working. I would rather focus on the 80% that is working. And one thing I always jokingly say, even sometimes with my clients in sessions, I'll be like, with my husband and I, we don't get problem, and money we don't get at that time. We don't get problem, and money we don't get, and money won't shame us. That's it. And that's the truth, because every other issues we're having was revolved around it. So go for counseling, seek help, go for professional counseling. And if you feel like, okay, you have a pastor you can trust as a Christian, as a believer, or you have someone in your life that you feel that you can trust their counsel, fine. But the point is that don't just go through that season alone. Don't just sit down and manage the situation. Go for knowledge.
Very true, very true. And I'll add this. The Bible said in Proverbs chapter 24, 3 and 4, it said, through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. It said, by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. So I'll say to you, see, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge can help you weather any storm. So don't think that marriage are not working. Yes, the rate of divorce might be high out there, but you still have a lot of marriages that are thriving, and ours is one of them. But you can get this through wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, and that's what she's talking about in counseling. You can reach out to us. As we said, we are counselors. We'll be glad to help you. Your marriage can work. Now, we know that there are extreme cases where both parties just have to. But before you get to that point, why don't you do all you can to salvage that marriage? Marriage is beautiful. I'm telling you, marriage is beautiful. And one thing I want to tell people also that are going through a tough time, fix your marriage the earlier the better. A lot of people don't realize that as you grow older in life, your 50s, 60s, let's even say 60s, 70s, you will now see the benefit of companionship. You will now see the benefit why it is not good for one to be alone. There was this story that has been trending recently about a lady that was in the US and her dad was in Nigeria. Dad happens to be a US citizen that had been in the US for over 25 years, relocated back to Nigeria to just live the latter part of his years, and his siblings took advantage of him. He was sick for over a year. She couldn't reach the father, or almost a year. She couldn't reach the father and everything, and she had to come rescue the father. The father was really sick, almost dying, and the rest. Now, one of the things that sorry. Now, one of the things I thought about when I watched that video, it was that, where is the man's wife? Now, I don't know if he was divorced or anything, but you see, that's where marriage companionship comes in your old age, when you are feeble, when you are weak, when you don't have the strength again, or even if you have the strength and everything, you need that person to go through life. Now you can say, after all, I don't need my wife, I don't need my husband, I have friends, I have family members, I can flex, I can do everything. Just wait to the later part of your life, then you will realize why you need it. You realize why you need it. So work on your marriage. Marriage is sweet, I can tell you.
And also be careful who you have as a role model. Be careful what you feed yourself with. If you keep feeding yourself with the information that, oh, marriages are breaking up every day, marriages are breaking up, that is what will be in front of you. I don't even fixate on that anymore. I always say this, that when there was a period where it was like almost every week, once you go on social media, this marriage has ended, that marriage has ended. And I know the people around me, they'll call me, Pastor Fumi, what's going on? The devil is attacking marriages. But I had a different approach. I went to God and I said, God, what is the solution to this? Because I know I still have marriages around me that are working. Mine is working, and I know a couple of people's marriages that are working. But I said, God, how can I play my part to reduce the number? And God gave me the wisdom for my work. So the truth is that you have to be careful what you fixate on. If you put that in front of you, that is what you're going to produce. And the fact that your marriage is going through a challenging time does not mean that you married wrong. Neither does it mean that the marriage is bad. I always say that conflict is not bad if you know how to manage it. Conflict sometimes is just an indication of some underlying issues that both of you have not paid attention to. So if you can isolate those issues from your emotions and sit down the table and trash out those issues, you guys will be in a better place, because two of you are coming from two different worlds. So don't be scared because you guys are having some lingering issues. That's why I said go for counseling, because these are some of the things that in counseling you will get to understand better, and you will know how to constructively manage your conflicts, constructively handle issues when they prop up. So don't sit down scrolling on social media and looking for confirmation on why marriages cannot last. No, there are even marriages that went through a lot, and today they are so beautiful. You will hear them, they've been together for 50 years, and they are not that they just manage themselves for the 50 years. They've been together happy. So please focus on the good things, the good marriages that are working out there. And put those ones in front of you. Let them be your real role models. All right?
Yeah. So we're going to draw to a close now. I want to say thank you for watching. If you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button. Thank you very much. And until next time, we'll say bye.